Hey everyone, welcome to the first in a series of videos that we're going to do about Steel Rising, and in particular things that you can do to make getting the Platinum Trophy a lot easier. Okay, in this first video, we're going to focus sort of on beginning game stuff because I don't know about you, but for me, I actually found the start of this game quite challenging. Overall, the game's maybe like a 4 out of 10 in terms of difficulty, but the beginning of the game I actually found quite a bit tougher than the rest, so I thought I'd share some tips to help you get started, get over that initial hump that the game does have. In particular, I found myself dying when I got to the very first mini boss, which you'll see me fight at the end of this video. Okay, so I recommend doing two things at the start of the game to make it easier if you're struggling like I was. And the first is there's a DLC weapon that you can buy for $3 in the PlayStation Store. It's called the Discus Chain. That's the weapon that you see me using here. I really recommend picking this up if you're struggling. The reason for that is, well, okay, so first off, it does nice damage if you use power as your main attribute, which I'm going to get to, and that's also what I recommend. But also, it has ridiculously good range. You see here that I'm actually able to hit enemies from quite far away, and also the first attack in a combo has good sort of side to side range as well. It has good area of effect damage. It can hit multiple enemies at once. Okay, so I really recommend picking up this weapon. It'll make your life a fair bit easier. And as you upgrade it, its strength and scaling with the power attribute just gets ridiculous. Okay, now the second thing that I recommend that you do is what you see me doing here. Okay, so I'm at the first Vestal in the game. This is like the save point. It's like the Steel Rising version of bonfires from the Souls games. And so what I recommend you doing from this Vestal is you'll see me making a loop where I run through and kill 6 enemies. Okay, the first one's here, then there's one just directly to the right around the corner, and then there's a group of two, and then there's one right around at the end there. Okay, the first one sometimes you can get a stealth kill in, like I did back there. This one you're not going to get a stealth kill in. The one that's just around the corner up ahead, also not, and then two in a room. There's sort of nothing that you can do to make them any easier, but you kind of don't have to worry if you get hit too much because they're not going to kill you in 1 or 2 hits. They're fairly weak enemies. If they hit you a couple times, it doesn't matter. You're going right back to a Vestal after killing just 6 of them anyway. Okay, each one that you kill is going to get you somewhere in the ballpark of 70 anima essence, 70 experience. So when you do a full run like this, you're going to get about 420 experience, which doesn't sound like a lot, but actually the leveling up requirements at the start of the game are actually very, very low. The very first level up only requires 1,000 anima essence, so that's like 2.5 of these runs, and they don't increase in cost very much. You'll see in this video is only about 36 minutes long. In this video, I go from level 1, or sorry, maybe I started at level 2 or 3 or something in this video, but I go all the way up to level 16. That's how quick this is. Okay, so in between a half hour and 45 minutes, you're going to be able to go up to level 16 or so. And you're going to get a lot stronger. Everything's going to be a lot easier. The entire beginning chunk of the game is going to be so much easier for you if you do this. Okay, I recommend leveling up your power attribute, okay, because that's going to make your attacks do more damage, which makes your grinding faster, but also just makes enemies go down quicker. I find power is a lot more useful than increasing your health in this game, because if enemies go down quicker, then they just have fewer chances to attack you in the first place, so you're also going to take less damage. I find power to be the best stat, especially in the early game. Okay, and to give you a bit of a sense of just how ridiculous getting to level 16 this early is, I finished the game at level 35. So we're almost getting halfway up to end game levels just in this first 35 or 40 minutes because there's so many easy enemies here that you can just farm over and over and over again. And that enemy that I just killed right there, you'll notice that it dropped an essence of a lesser spirit. That particular enemy drops that every single time, and that gets you another 250 anima essence. You have to use it from the items menu. But really, so then that brings the amount of experience that you get per run up from 200, from 420 to about 670 in just a single run. And these runs, they take less than a minute. Like there's nothing to them. They're easy peasy. Now, another great reason to grind at this location early on in this game is that enemy that I just killed right there. That enemy you can stealth attack every single time when the diamond around it in its center there is red like that. If you go up and attack it with R1 just like usual, you will kill it instantly. Okay, enemies later in the game that have higher health won't necessarily die instantly, but that one will. You need to do that 20 times for a trophy. So if you're doing this grinding like I recommend, you'll get that trophy out of the way really quickly and easily. And actually, there are a couple other combat trophies that you can get out of the way while you're doing this early game grinding. And I really recommend doing at least some of these because if you don't, you're going to have to grind them out at the end of the game anyway. So there's a trophy for immobilizing 770 enemies. This one's actually kind of annoying, so feel free to leave it for later. But in the middle of every enemy, there's that white diamond there that sort of gradually fills up. When that fills up all the way, if it fills up all the way before you kill them, then the enemy will be immobilized, and then you can do a critical hit and kill them. You have to do that 70 times throughout the game to get a trophy. For me, like that just never happened naturally while I was playing through the game. So, and that's never going to happen really when you're using this discus chain weapon. It does too much damage, not enough immobilization damage, so it'll just never happen naturally. So, if you want to go for that one, equip a weapon like a fan weapon. Okay, some classes start with a fan weapon, and that one's good at sort of building up immobilization damage. So you can get that trophy out of the way if you like. Okay, and have a look. Like, there's a whole bunch of grindy combat trophies. You can try to get some of them out of the way at this point in the game while you're doing this grinding anyway, if you like. Another really nice feature of doing this early game grinding is it gets you lots of the oil vials that you can use to heal yourself. Remember, you cannot use the oil burette to heal yourself if you're going for the platinum trophy. There's a trophy for completing the entire game without using the oil burette. But enemies, while you're doing this, a lot of them will drop oil vials, which you can use to heal yourself. And normally you'd have to spend anima essence on buying those, so it can get a little annoying to have to grind them out, especially early in the game when you haven't saved up any resources yet. But if you do this grinding, then you'll start the sort of game proper with a nice stash of healing resources, and it just makes everything a lot easier going forward from here. Okay, so that's basically it. My advice is just run this route, grind things out for a half hour to maybe an hour at the start of the game. After level 16 or so, things do become quite a bit more expensive when you want to level up. So, I mean, feel free to stop when the costs start spiking. But for at least the first 10, 15, maybe 20 levels, you can just do this in the tutorial area of the game before you fought a single boss. And that's it. All right, have a good one, everyone.